Hi everyone, I wanted to do a quick lesson on Diamante Poems, which is part of the week 6 packet that the students are doing this week. It's also going to be on Seesaw as one of your required assignments. So before we begin, did you know that diamante is the Italian word for diamond? So these are also known as diamond poems. Another fun fact, if you remember from geometry, we see this shape when you're working with pattern blocks. It's actually a blue shape. And we learned that it's called a rhombus. It's not actually called a diamond. A lot of people call it a diamond, and that's how this poem has its name, but it's actually a rhombus. Diamante poem is a poem that is set up in this order. It starts with a noun, then 2 adjectives, 3 verbs, 4 nouns, 3 more verbs, 2 adjectives, and a noun. Before we begin talking about the poem, let's review what a noun, an adjective, and a verb are. Nouns are a person, place, animal, thing, or idea. Examples are teacher, parent, park, school, dog, computer, love, and fear. When we talk about nouns being an idea, think about love or fear. It's like a bigger idea, not like you had an idea in your head to make something for dinner, but the idea of love. It's not something that you can reach out and touch, but it's something that you have in your heart. Adjectives, words to describe something. We tell the kids to use their 5 senses. Some examples are pretty, blue, crunchy, loud, yummy, stinky, rough, and bumpy. And then we have verbs. Verbs are action or movement words, and they may sometimes end in ed or ing. Some examples are skip, hop, jump, running, dreaming, chewing, skate, and talk. Some examples of Diamante poems. There's actually 2 kinds of Diamante poems. There's a synonym Diamante poem, and we learned this year that synonyms mean the same. And then there's a different kind, which we'll go over after this one. So in a Diamante poem that is a synonym, Diamante poem, all the nouns are talking about the same thing. So I'm going to give you an example with this over here, this Diamante poem named Monsters. So monsters, evil, spooky, howling, shrieking, wailing, ghosts, vampires, goblins, witches, flying, scaring, terrifying, creepy, crawly, creatures. This is a synonym or same Diamante poem because this whole poem is all talking about monsters. You can see that these 2 words describe monsters, evil and spooky. These 3 verbs tell things that monsters do. All 4 of these words are some different types of monsters. They're nouns. Then we have 3 more verbs or action words that monsters can do. 2 words that describe monsters, creepy, crawly, and then a noun that is another word for the word monster. So they decided creatures. I might have put, goblins or something there, or witches could have gone there as well. But it's a word that means the same thing. So in a synonym Diamante poem, the first noun and the second noun are actually words that mean the same thing. So if I was writing a poem about, a building, and I had my first word was building, my last word might be something like tower or complex, something like that. The next type of Diamante poem is an antonym or opposite Diamante poem. The cool thing about this is you're going to start with a word and you're going to end with a word that's the opposite. And you can see here that I've kind of put it in 2 different colors for you so you can really see. So this noun that you start with, you're going to have 2 adjectives that describe it, 3 verbs, 2 other words that relate to it, but then you're going to switch. and you're going to think of 2 words that are the opposite of it, and then 3 verbs and 2 adjectives for your opposite one. I know this seems really kind of, confusing. Let's look over here at this example. It's the example of the sun. So, this person decided they wanted to write about the sun. Well, if we're thinking of an opposite poem, what's the opposite of the sun? The moon. So you can see that they started off with sun, but their last noun is going to be moon. That's my hint for you. If you are writing an antonym Diamante poem, an opposite poem, I would decide what you're going to write about and put that on the first line. And then think of something that's the opposite and put that on the last line. That's going to really help you when you're organizing your poem. So they started with sun, and then they did fiery and yellow, which are 2 adjectives that describe the sun. Burning, blinding, exploding. Those are 3 things that the sun can do. Now, if we look at this 4th line, we're going to see that these 2 words, the first 2 nouns, have to do with the sun, flame and light. Just like over here, these first 2 nouns have to do with the sun, the first noun. But then the next 2 words have to do with moon. So night, crescent. And if you look over at my example, I have blue because these blue words are all words about the same thing, and the red are all words about the same thing. Then I have shining, orbiting, and reflecting. Those are 3 things that the moon can do. Gold and silver describe the moon, and then I have my word moon. Your job this week is going to be to write a poem. You can choose to do a synonym Diamante poem or an antonym Diamante poem. You can choose which one. Remember that a Diamante poem has a special format that reminds us of a diamond, but we know that that shape is actually called a rhombus. Happy writing!